Hello, everyone. I'm Tony,
And I'm Guy.
and you're tuned in to the Manly Way.
Yes.
So, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I think we should talk about what we were talking about earlier today. Was we were talking about time management.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're just been visiting a little bit about that. I was asking Tony about his time management and what he does, and just asking him a little bit more about how he conducts his day, what he does, how he handles his time management. Just because we're busy, we're doing so many other things, and we need to keep track of what we're doing, and we can't really waste a lot of time. And so I was asking him, so I'm asking you now.
Okay.
Explain what you were talking to me about the time management.
All right. So, for me, anyways, I know all of you guys have, or I hope you have some method or way or means to not waste time, because we can waste time real easy. Because at least for dudes, what do we tend to do?
Waste time.
We waste time.
So let's start with the premise. Let's say, what if somebody doesn't have any time management skills whatsoever?
Why don't we tell them how we do it, and then hopefully they can glean from that.
Okay.
And if not, we'd love to hear from you some of your tricks of the trade too, as well, because it's something we want all of us to share.
Yeah.
But for me, it's notorious for me. I can start a project. In fact, it's so funny. I was just laying some sod this weekend, and the primary focus was sod.
So what? Explain laying sod.
Sod is like instant grass,
Okay.
instant lawn. Okay, so you call one of these. They call them a sod farm, where they basically grow grass, not the kind you smoke, but the kind that you put on your lawn, right?
And it comes out in strips.
Comes out in strips, right? Probably about 2 foot wide strips, rolled up in about 6 foot lengths,
Okay.
and you just lay those out.
Okay.
Well, there's a process that goes with laying that,
Yep.
and in the process, seeing as how it's my lawn, I notice all of these peripheral things that should be taken care of before that I didn't notice. So I'm trying to take care of all of these little items before the sod gets
Okay.
there. And what that did is it kind of diverted my attention from how I wanted to lay the sod out and so on and so forth. Well, not a huge diversion, but it's one of those that it could have been.
Okay.
Especially since I had a friend that was helping us lay it, and when it comes to sod, it's kind of like concrete. You really got to get it down as soon as you can and get water to it. Okay. Same thing with concrete. Concrete, you got to get it in the ground or in the forms or whatever, out of the truck as soon as you. Especially since for us, it's fairly warm right now, which is for Montana. This is kind of unusual.
It's rare.
It's rare.
We get our 1 week of summer.
We get our 1 week. So, anyways, I noticed myself looking at all these other tasks, trying to complete them before I sod, and that's just kind of an example. Whereas what I'll do is I'll jot down on a list. A list works great for me. So I'll look at a list, a task-oriented list. I'll see what I need to do, and I try not to go beyond those items in a day, because just like we were just talking, we were in a store and we're talking about what do we want to get done today, and I'm thinking like about 2 items past what Guy is thinking, and that's kind of my weakness is I have higher expectations of what we could get done than probably what you can get done.
And I used to be like that. I used to have, okay, we can get this done, then this done, then this done, then this done. And like we've said, you've heard our stories already. I had a stroke, and I had to slow down, and I had to prioritize my life. And one of the things that I prioritized was, is it really that important? And so there are some things that are just that important, and you have to get them done that day. And then there are things that you have to look at what is the most important things to do that day, and then get those things done, and then prioritize what's least, and until you're done with the day.
Right.
And I love Tony. He tends to go, okay, we're going to get this done, then we're going to get this done, then we're going to get this done. And we're working together, and I say, well, we might get 2 of those things done, but I don't know about a whole lot more than that. And he'll go, well, we'll see.
We'll
and then, sometimes we get more done, sometimes we get less. It just all depends on what we do.
Right.
On schedule making, on keeping on task, on schedule, I can attest to being with Tony that he is a list maker. He has a little tablet that he carries around, and he's always constantly making a list, and it keeps him on task. It keeps him knowing what he needs to do. Sometimes he'll write down, if he's on a job site, he'll write down his list on a wall that needs to be painted or something, and then he'll take a photo on his phone. He'll take a photo of that list.
That's where phones are great.
And then he'll have his list on his phone. I've seen him make mini lists, and he'll text himself a list. There's several different ways that he does it.
What do you do?
Well, I'm more of a routine guy. I didn't used to be like this, but I keep routine, and it works well for my life. If now, not always can you keep the same routine, because we're business people, we're self-employed, we have different things happen, people get sick, but what I try to do is I try to do the same things. Like in the morning, I'll wake up and I'll do the same thing in the same succession each morning, and in the evening I'll do the same thing in the same succession each evening. I try to go to bed at the same time. I try to have I try to do the same things that I can, depending on who I'm around and what's going on. But I try to do that, and it brings some cohesiveness into my life, and it helps me to balance some of the craziness that always happens in lives. If my daughter's sick or things happen, I still can bring some normality into my life.
Right.
So that's
and have that flexibility in case something doesn't follow through exactly with your routine. Because I know, right? I mean, our kids will do that. There's things happen. They get, like you said, sick, or they're involved in something that a function that you have to be at, and just all of these things can change it up. But the more that you stay in some form of like routine, even for our kids, that really helps, because they'll know they'll know what's coming and kind of expect them. And for me, it keeps me focused on what I'm working on. As long as I have my list of things, then I'll know that this is what I need to get done today. That's what I'm focusing on. And just like Stephen had mentioned, that there's like priority. Like, I don't put certain things at the top of the list that are not as important. They're the ones that are important. The first three have to get done today. And the others are just bonuses.
And that's what we're going to try to. We're really trying to show you through when we start going through Dude Food. We're really going to show you that there's a way to go through your week, and there's a time to prep your food. There's a time to, there's time for all of it. That you can eat healthy. There's a time to cook. You don't have to go out and eat all the time. If something happens, there's always extra food that you can, that you can get, that you can make a meal out of. And
because stuff happens.
Stuff does happen, and there's ways to bring snacks with you if you have to go places. And I find that the weekend, especially Sundays, are my time to reset, regroup, and do a lot of the prep, and do my laundry, things like that, and just kind of regroup myself, just those basic, those routines really help, and they help my kids. My daughter really needs that consistency. She really needs that knowing what's happening on which days, what's going on, even though she says, well, I don't really need that. When it doesn't happen, she's like, what's going on? Why isn't this going on? And she really needs that comfort of knowing what's going on. She really needs that comfort.
It's just one of those things.
We're getting a phone call. We're not getting a phone call.
No, we're not.
We're in a truck.
Yes.
And we get a phone call. but anyhow, that's what we do with time management, and
Yes.
I think that making lists, having routines. If you don't have if you're a younger guy and you're just starting out and you don't have a routine and you don't have lists, I would try it.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
even one thing, even trying just one thing. One thing that I try to do every day, and it seems like a small thing, but it really helps. I make my bed every day. Making your bed every day is a way of just starting the day correctly. Then when you come back, it's amazing what it does just by making your bed and keeping things organized and keeping things running clean. But just start with one thing. If you
Absolutely.
don't have a routine right now, don't try to do everything at once.
Yeah.
Start with one thing. Just start with small steps.
Yeah.
Just make a small list. Just write down 3 things. Just start with a small routine of in the morning a few things, or don't try to jump into everything. And then as it grows, as you get used to it, it will really, really help you.
Especially, I think, in the morning. That's what jumps out at
Yes.
me. Like, I have little sticky pads that I leave on the counter that are those things that you don't want to forget, because, like, for us, we're traveling, 30, 40 minutes just to get to the next town where we're working, doing most of the work together.
Yes.
And so the last thing you want to do is forget something. So I'll leave a little, the night before when I'm thinking of, because in the morning, it just seems like you've got so many other things, like what's going on in the day,
Yep.
and so it's easy to forget stuff. So, and man, that saves you a lot of time. If there's something that you need, especially with kids, and for something you're missing, an item for your for dinner that night or whatever it might be, just leave a little note like that. It's amazing. You just take that, stick it on your dash, so you don't forget it, and just a little time savers, because especially little ones, you're going to have things with getting them ready and going in the morning. Sometimes is enough distraction that you'll miss a couple of those things.
Oh, I do all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really need to give myself notes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and those are just a few of the things that will, I like further times that we'll be sharing more and,
Yeah.
and other methods. But we're also open to hear what suggestions you guys have out there too.
Yeah, other things that you do.
Yeah.
But anything is better than nothing. So just start with something.
Yeah.
And just move forward.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So time management, very important.
Yes.
Um,
and one thing I want to say about time management before we leave.
Okay.
We haven't really talked a lot about what you have to minimize in your life, time management wise.
Ooh, that's a big one too.
Some things you might have to cut back on.
Yep. Everything's it's a balance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You might have to spend a little bit more time not watching some sports, or not
Just
playing
TV
some,
in general.
Yeah,
Any kind of form of it.
or video game or something
Or
like
video
that.
games. Yeah.
Yeah. And just spending a little bit more time prepping, thinking, just without a screen on, your mind is able to think about what your day is doing. I know sometimes I just need to maybe have some light music on in the background, or just some stuff, and just think, and just, what do I need to do? What should I be doing? And it's pretty productive time for me.
Yeah.
I can't do that all the time. I kind of like some background stuff, but it helps. It really helps.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Just it's an amazing thing what you can accomplish when you if you give yourself 10 minutes for this and 15 minutes for that. And there's not much time. There's really by the end of the evening, you still will have some
Plenty of time.
Yeah, some plenty of time. It's amazing. It's the distractions. If you can just. And all little ones, and what we talk about, which you'll when you tune into us, you'll be able to see some of the videos that are coming, for the 7-day meal preparation. How involving, with kids, involving them in every part of it as much as you can, because you're teaching them to develop these principles that'll help them the rest of their life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
I agree.
good.
Well, that's a good way to stop that.
I think
right
that
there.
is. I think
Yeah.
it is. It is.
Fantastic.
So thank
Well-
you for tuning in to Manly Way.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay, fantastic.